My Hero Academia Season 5 Episode 16 is out, and with this new episode we get a look into Uraraka, Froppy and Nejire's hero work studies with the number 10 hero, Ryuko. This episode covers no chapters from the My Hero manga. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for an anime-only filler episode. So without further ado, let's jump right into My Hero Academia Season 5 Episode 16 titled, Long Time No See, Selkie. And as usual, don't forget to Detroit smash that like button and slide into that subscribe button's DMs to hit that notification bell. This episode opens up with our glorious green-haired protagonist boy, Izuku Midoriya, looking up into the night sky, exhausted after a hard day with Endeavor's agency, wondering how his gal pal best girl, Ochaco Uraraka, and her often fetishized BFFF, best frog friend forever, Suyu Asui, are doing with their hero work studies. The story then cuts on over to the delightful duo where we see Uraraka flaunting her new hero costume, which she got made after having to grab onto her boy toy in front of the entire class. And we see everyone in the Ryuko Hero Agency celebrating a day of hard work, with different sweets and fanciful drinks. I wonder if Endeavor celebrates like this too, with Bakugo, Midoriya and Todoroki after their first day of hero work. Probably not. We then cut to the following day, where Team Ryuko are watching a news report about an illicit factory which makes illegal quirk-enhancing drugs that exploded and caused a large-scale wildfire in the fictional country of Kaflin. Fellow Hero Course student and the Big Tree member that constantly gets shafted when it comes to taking the spotlight, Nejire Hado, explains that the drug that was being manufactured is called Trigger, and it works almost identically to the drug the Shihei Saikai were producing last season. In seeing this news report, Ryuko comments how the factory being destroyed should lower the drug's redistribution rate, but her sidekick informs her that all of the chemicals in the factory storage were nowhere to be found, leading her to believe that the factory exploding was actually just a cover-up to destroy evidence and to interrupt the police's investigation. Also, side note, it's cool to see a quirk-enhancing drug that was introduced in My Hero Academia Vigilantes making its way into the main series, although it does make you wonder about the fate of Koichi. Following this, the story then cuts on over to the two fan favorite, I actually don't know if anyone likes them, characters we haven't seen in a very long time since the anime-only filler episode in Season 2, Selkie and Sirius, who are in the middle of chasing some smugglers. Before the heroes can take any real action, however, a man jumps onto the ship's cargo, injects himself with a mysterious drug, Trigger, and releases a massive cloud of smoke from the pores in his body, blinding Selkie and his crew and hiding the smuggler's ship. Even with this smokescreen up, Selkie and his crew continue to hunt down the smugglers. Unfortunately, they lose their targets in the dense smog, and the chase ends. Sirius points out that the evildoers couldn't have gone far, and that they must be hiding somewhere in the Verais Islands, waiting for an opportunity to make a break for it. Hearing this, Selkie declares, "We need air support," and so he sends out a request for assistance from the greatest form of air support in the entirety of the My Hero world, a motherfucking dragon lady. After receiving Selkie's request for help, Ryuko tells her UA work study students to get ready, because they're going to the beach. That's right everyone, it's the moment you've been waiting for. It's a goddamn beach episode. And let me tell ya, oh boy do they play this one up. As soon as Team Ryuko meets up with Selkie, all of the girls get into bikinis, play beach volleyball, and have a barbecue. It's fan service galore. It's also kind of funny how they added in the beach episode here, because Bakugo, Todoroki, and Midoriya are out training their asses off in preparation for a fast approaching impending doom, and Uraraka and Froppy are just out here eating cakes and chilling on the beach. Now, the in-world explanation for this beach party is 1, they know the villains won't make a move in broad daylight, so they're just passing the time, and 2, Selkie thinks that these young heroes are being forced to see too much negativity in the world, so he's letting them party to show them that there is still plenty of fun and good times to be had. But let's be real here, we all know why these characters are at the beach. As evening approaches, all of the heroes get out of relaxation mode, hop back into their hero costumes, and prepare for the mission ahead. Froppy and Selkie work together underwater, Sirius and Uraraka stay on the boat and remain on the lookout, and Nejire and Ryuko take to the skies to provide air support. All in all, it's actually a pretty great setup that covers all bases. The underwater team, Selkie and Froppy, find the villain villain ship first using selkie sonar technique, and he discloses its location to the boat team Sirius and Uraraka through Morse code using high frequency sounds which only Sirius can pick up on, thanks to her quirk, Good Ear. Alright, I'll admit that's a pretty fun and creative team-up technique, but let's be real here. If Sirius can become a pro hero with a good listening quirk, then anyone can become a hero. After receiving the enemy's coordinates, the boat team and the air support squad arrive on the scene to take down the villains. But once again, one of the smugglers injects himself with trigger and creates a massive smokescreen, causing the boat team and the air support team to lose sight of the ship. However, as it turns out, this is exactly what the heroes had planned for, as while the smugglers are distracted by the boat and air team, the underwater team, Selkie and Froppy, who still have a visual on the boat thanks to being underwater, use the smokescreen to their advantage, entering the vessel from below and taking out all of the smugglers aboard. And as they take out the smugglers one by one, the mission initially seems like a success. However, life ain't ever that easy, and just when the heroes think they have this bout won, the supposed cargo raft tied to the back of the boat detaches, revealing itself to be a cargo plane, which is being piloted by the smugglers' leader. Before the heroes even have time to act, the plane takes off, traveling at a speed faster than either Ryuko or Nejire can fly. With the plane in the air and no one fast enough to catch it, all hope seems lost. That is until the boat team come up with the ingenious plan for Uraraka to apply zero gravity to herself, have her grab onto the front of a harpoon cannon, and launch her into the air. Now I gotta admit, the image of Uraraka grabbing onto like the front of a cannon and being launched out of it did put a bit of a smile on my face. Once Uraraka is catapulted into the air, she shoots a grappling hook out of her new hero costume to grab onto the plane's wing. By the way, this new grappling hook support item isn't a once-off thing for this filler episode. It actually appears in the main continuity further down the line, which initially made me feel kind of weird seeing it here, but I guess it does make sense that canonically she would get it during this part of the story. So yeah, props to the creators for thinking about this upgrade and utilizing it for the narrative. Once Uraraka grabs onto the plane's wing, she pulls herself into the plane and using her now classic gunhead martial arts, she takes down the smuggler leader. Hooray, mission accomplished, right? Wrong, as Uraraka took out the only person on the plane who knows how to fly it. Didn't really think this one through, did you, Urara? Unable to learn how to pilot a nose-diving plane in a matter of seconds, Uraraka begins to panic. But she and the heroes come up with a plan. Nejire will use her quirk to temporarily slow the vehicle down, and Uraraka will make the entire plane float to stabilize it. While initially hesitant of this plan, Uraraka shakes off her nerves and goes plus ultra, pushing her quirk to its limits and succeeding in lifting the plane. This gives Ryuko enough time to catch up, grab onto the aircraft, and lower it to safety. And episode 16 ends with a successful mission, another beach party, and a reveal that the smugglers were trying to make their way to Ocean, the main country featured in the My Hero Academia World Heroes Mission movie. And it turns out that they were planning on giving the trigger to the main villain of said movie, Flecked Turn. Really don't know how I feel about that name. Overall, this episode wasn't great. I mean, it was an anime-only filler episode. What did you expect? The villains were completely useless, had absolutely zero personality, and added nothing to the story. I mean, they weren't really a threat as much as they were just a mild nuisance. They were also written pretty poorly. I mean, at one stage, the leader pulled out a vial of trigger and said that if things get messy, they will have to rely on it, hinting that it would be of great importance and that they might all have to use it. But literally only one of them did, and he just did the exact same thing he did the last time they were caught. He put up a smoke screen so he could hide. They could have added a cool fight in the smoke with Selkie having to rely on his sound to see his opponents while they have an advantage of full vision or something along those lines. But nope, he just hops on board and wipes the floor with them. As usual, Nejire's potential was wasted and Froppy didn't even get too much to do in this episode either. I get that they wanted to have some tie-in and promotion for the upcoming movie, but throwing this filler episode episode in the middle of an already controversial narrative rearrangement was a bold move, and I don't think it's playing out too well for them. I will say, however, that personally I do quite enjoy these fun getaway side stories. Seeing Selkie and Sirius again was pretty great, and Uraraka having another moment to shine knowing that she will be absent for the majority of the story to come was awesome. Fun beach episodes are usually fun, and this was no exception in my book. But even though I did enjoy this episode a bit, I know objectively its place in the narrative as a whole was awful, and in an already questionable season, this really was the last thing the series needed. Overall, I'd give this episode a 4.5 or 5 out of 10. It's a bit of fun and actually had some good character moments, but there was a lot to be desired in my opinion. But let me know what you thought of this episode. If you liked this video, don't forget to leave a like. For more My Hero content, subscribe to the Lunchtime crew. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Plus Ultra!